Welcome to a double unboxing and review of the Thrunite Neutron 1C and the Thrunite Neutron 2C. Yeah. Okay, let's have a little look at what we have. The 1C offers 255 ANSI lumens, whereas the 2C gives you a massive 330. The 1C uses one CR123 cell and the 2C uses, guess, two CR123 cells. They both have 7 types of output. They both have last mode memory. They both have a moonlight mode of 0.09 lumens, and they both have a hard Type 3 anodized coating. And one other thing is they're both IPX8 rated, which it doesn't tell you. So packages are pretty similar for both of them. Same information in the back, telling you a little bit about the R&D cycle they go through. They use good LEDs, blah blah blah. Nothing fascinating there. Nothing really different. And let's do some unboxing. So what do you get with the 1C? With the 1C, you get the little flashlight itself, which we'll look at. You've got the holster, which similar holster in both of them. It's nothing spectacular. You've got an elasticated side here, so it can accommodate not just this flashlight, but other flashlights as well. You've got what looks like a belt loop here. No molly attachment here, unfortunately. You've got your D-ring. Plastic D-ring here that you can use to attach it to a belt or whatever you want to do, and it's a simple slide in, slide out. There is no enclosure mechanism to contain the flashlight. Nothing amazing. I wouldn't really use it, and I don't use it. What else do we have here? We've got 2 included O-rings, pretty standard again. I've never had a need for them. And you've got the cheat sheet, or sorry, the little manual that I'm going to use as a cheat sheet. So we'll go through these as I'm talking about the flashlight itself. So I'll put that to the side, pop that here, and do a quick unboxing now of the 2C. It's pretty similar. Guess what? You get a flashlight, you get a holster, you get O-rings. Geez, you get 4 O-rings with this one. Okay, much better. And okay, so there's a 2C and there's a 1C. Now I'm going to do a little side-by-side comparison in terms of how tall they both are, what their size is, compared with a regular mini Maglite AA version. So let me move that stuff out the road so it's not distracting. Okay, so you can see the 1C, obviously the smallest because it uses one CR123. The 2C uses 2 CR123s, and the mini Maglite AA uses 2 AA batteries. In terms of width, at the head, pretty similar, all pretty similar. The Maglite's actually thicker than them, and tail end, obviously these are going to be a little bit broader because they're using the CR123 cell, which is a broader cell than the AA. So let's move the Maglite out the road. In terms of similarities, pretty same construction, similar knurling, high quality. You've got a stainless steel bezel ring, which is awesome, and it's a screw down bezel ring in both of them. You've got crenellations. So what the crenellations allow you to do is if you do place the flashlight tail down and you've got it switched on, you'll be able to see the light bleeding out the side. They both have now, Thrunite have actually changed the design since I did the review of the 1A, which I've got here. Now, the 1A had a little bit of issue getting this tail stand. Its tail stand's fine now because I've managed to sort out the problem with the mushy tail cap. But here's a new 1A that I got, and it's much more stable. It's substantially more stable. I whacked the table there, which moved the camera, and it did not knock the flashlight over, which is, you know, awesome. And they're all pretty much the same. Now you can see the 1A in comparison to the 1C and the 2C. It fits pretty much in the middle. Let's move the 1A out the road because this is not a review for it. Like I've said, they're both IPX8 rated, so you can stick them in up to 12 feet of water for 24 hours. That is static pressure, not dynamic pressure. So effectively, if they fall in the ground, or fall in the water rather, and you do not move them, they will be fine. In reality, what will you really get out of it? Don't know. Not really tried it. The tail cap itself. Now, what they've done is, compared to the, let's find my old 1A, and compare it, you can see, if I can, let me just get the image a bit better. There we go. Okay, so you can see what they've done is they've actually recessed the new versions of the Tailcap further in than the old versions, which is a suggestion I had made, and it looks like they thought about the same thing as well. And what it means is you do get a far better tail standing ability. So when you use this in candle mode, so if you've got a blackout and you need to stick this in, down on the on the worktop or something and use it as a candlelight, it will do the job substantially better. You will notice there is no pocket clip on the 1C, which the 1A and the 2C do have. There's another difference I've noted in the actual coating of the pocket clip. This is the original 1A that I had, which had a titanium coated pocket clip. This is claimed to have a titanium coated pocket clip, but it looks anodized. I haven't tested this. I've tested the 1A's pocket clip out extensively, and it's held up great. There is actually, you can see fingerprints there, but apart from fingerprints, there's not a single scratch on that, and that's over 8 months of use. This I've not tried. I've only had it for a couple of weeks, so I cannot vouch for if this is genuinely titanium coated or if it is just simply anodized. And I have to be honest, it looks anodized. Is it going to be a big deal? Nah, not really. A great, again, superb knurling on the body. Yeah, now these are, the Thrunite Phoenix 47s. If you actually scrubbed out the name and just showed somebody who knew about flashlights but wasn't a flashaholic, you showed them one of these, they couldn't tell the difference. They're all pretty much the same. I think they're made in the same kind of factories, and then to basically a catalog part bin, and the manufacturer or the make is just stamped onto it with there's not a great deal of difference in the flashlights. In terms of quality, if you were to compare this to, let's say compare this to like the PD32, which would I prefer? To be honest, I go for the 2C. Why? Because I prefer to have an orange peel reflector rather than the smooth reflector. I'd rather have the XML. It's a more efficient LED. It's a newer LED. It's got greater degree of output than the XPGR5, which is not an outdated LED by any means, but when you're given the choice, why not go for the newer thing rather than the older thing? In terms of the reflector itself, why do I prefer orange peel? Because I don't require throw nearly as much as I require an area light. An area light to me is far more useful. And I'm not going on a gun range. I'm not shooting. What I am doing is walking around a park, countryside, wherever there isn't adequate street lighting, in the house, wherever. This serves a greater purpose for me. It's more useful illuminating a larger area, so you don't step on anything you don't want to be stepping on. Whereas this, it gives you a great hotspot, gives you great throw, but I find because most of the light goes into that hotspot, you don't get as much of an area light or as wide a beam. Therefore, out of the two, this would be my preference. Again, it's down to your own individual preferences. You may prefer this better. If you wanted a weapon light, I'd go for this. I'd go for the PD32. It's a better weapon light. In terms of construction, is it any better built than the Thrunite? No. In terms of price point, how do they compare? Comparable. They're both pretty much the same price. I will in the description below have a link to the recommended retailer. Obviously, this is UK based, so it will be a UK retailer I'll have here. Both have a clicky. Now, one thing I want to show with the clicky is, obviously I've already talked about this being recessed, but you can clearly notice there is a significant difference in terms of how the push button activates. This is a forward clicky, so let me readjust this. Okay, so if I turn this on, and it's gone into high mode. Now, if I turn it back off, now you'll notice I have momentary activation with this. With the 2C, well, first of all, I need to actually put some cells in it. Let's use the 1C because the 1C works in the same way. So let me just, I think I've got a cell in here actually. Yep, I've got so it just takes one Energizer, Surefire, whatever you want, CR123 battery. It won't really focus that well. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little bit better actually. There we go. Now you can use this. There's one very, very important point I want to make with relative to the CR123 and the RCR123. Let me put this in and see if you notice on here. So I'll take the CR123, pop it in, and turn it on. Okay, now, in terms of modes, what has it gone into? It's gone into the low mode first of all, which is 0.09 lumens. I'll talk more about runtime in a second, but I'm just going to crank it up to the max. Okay, that's the max output for this, which is the claimed 255 ANSI lumens. Impressive output for a light this size. That's a good output. However, if I turn it off, and it's a curious thing I've noticed. Again, it might not be the case. I might just be noticing this. Take the RCR, put it in, and it looks to me, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, to be more output. Now, why could that be the case? Well, this operates at 3.7 volts, and the RCRs operate at 4.2 volts fresh out of the charger, and that battery there is fresh out of the charger. So perhaps after using it for a while, the output will crank down. But that's a definite plus. You can get more output with this by using an RCR123. Why could that potentially be the case? Because it's rated from 0.9 up to 4.2 volts. That's where the RCR is just now. So I reckon you can, take advantage of that. You've got the premium Cree XML T6, you've got the orange peel reflector, which I've already mentioned. You've got the stainless steel bezel here. In terms of dimensions, you're looking at 3.5 inches in width, and you're looking at, what do we have here? 0.87 inches in diameter. Weight is about 1.5 ounces without the battery. With Energizer CR123, you're looking at about 2.1 ounces, roundabout. With the RCR, you're looking at a little bit more, 2.2, 2.3 ounces would be my estimate. It is a little heavier than the regular lithium battery. You've got your regulated output levels, which, you know what? Let's look at that right now. Let's have a look at the output levels. I'll use the Energizer for this. Whatever, makes no difference either way. Okay, so let me pop it into... Oh, crap. There we go. Okay, so this is user-defined mode 0.09 lumens, and you get 100 hours use out of this, which is decent, Is it the best that I've seen? No, I've seen better, but 100 hours for 0.09 lumens is a really, really good runtime. Crank it up a notch. Simply just soft pressing it will take it to 9 lumens. 9 lumens, you get 33 hours use. Impressive. Crank it up again, 50 lumens for 6 hours. Not bad, not bad. I mean, 6 hours use for one CR123 is decent. Crank it up again, 120 lumens for 2.1 hours. Crank it up again, and you go into SOS mode, which will be at that 120 lumens for about 4 hours. Which is really good. So if you are stuck out in the wilderness and you need to get some attention, you can do this, and it'll run for 4 hours. By twisting the actual part here fully, so it's fully tightened, it goes into turbo mode, and in turbo mode you get the 255 lumens. Now there isn't a runtime given. I'm guessing it's about 1 hour and 10 minutes. That'd be pretty reasonable to expect for this. And hit it. Soft press it, it goes into strobe mode. Again, strobe mode looks a little bit strange on the camera, but there you go. That's actually a better. For some weird reason, it was showing up strange, but the strobe mode itself is awesome. I really love the strobe mode, and you'll get about maybe about 1 hour and 45 minutes use of the strobe mode out of this, which is really, really good. So, okay, so. The last mode memory also works with the strobe mode. That's another improvement Thrunite have made over the other flashlights. So if I turn this off, turn it back on, it remembers the strobe mode. Now that is something, that's like its a unique selling feature that other flashlights I haven't seen with. They don't have it. Like, for example, if I do the Olight S10, comparable product, I would say it's a really close competition for the 1A. Advantages the Olight has is it's smaller, it's a more compact light, you get a pocket clip, you get a magnet built in, You got well, the side-mounted clicky switch versus the tail-mounted. Which has the advantage? Don't really know. There, both have the XML, the Cree XML T6. Both have an orange peel reflector, slightly different kind of orange peel reflector. This has a deeper reflector, but in terms of if I put it on high, put that on high, is there a difference now? To the camera, it looks like they're both white. And they are both cool white LEDs, but I can tell you right now, in person, the Thrunite light is white, or very close to being white. The Olight is green. Yeah, it's got a greenish tint to it, which I don't like. I do not like it at all. On camera, they both seem, just as white. Is one brighter than the other? I would say they're very comparable. If I had to push, I would say the Olight is slightly brighter. It does seem to have a slightly larger hotspot than the Thrunite. But, horses for courses. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So it has a standard, features that most of the flashlights have. I've already gone over numerous times in my other videos. The advantages of this stainless steel bezel ring is that if you do drop it, and when flashlights drop, they tend to drop, lens down, and that will protect the area from getting all gnarly. Another advantage is the square cut threads, which I'll try to show you here if I can. Here you go. So you can see the square cut threads. Advantage of a square cut thread is you're less likely to cross the threads, you're less likely to wear them out. They will give you a lifetime of use in theory, of course, over regular threads. So that is a big plus. You've got the O-ring here, and you've got the other O-ring inside here, and one in this end. Which I don't know if you can make it out. So, advantage of the O-ring is that's what helps give it the IPX rated waterproofness. There's the head end. Are the ends interchangeable? It seems they're interchangeable. I wouldn't, because obviously this side's anodized and that side isn't. That's been done for a reason. One is they don't expect you to take this end off that often, and the other reason is with the anodizing, if you do want to turn it off, let's use the RCR for a change. Oops, threw away my lens, not lens cap, tail cap. Okay, so that's it on, and if I unscrew this slightly, it's it off. So, that's another advantage there of being able to unscrew it. Okay, so you've also got the sapphire coated lens. What does the sapphire coating give you? Well, it gives you, let's see if we can focus on the lens again. There we go. So the sapphire coating gives you scratch resistance. Now, with this already being fairly deep set, the lens inside you've got a fairly substantial bezel ring there, which will give you a great deal of protection. So I've never really found anything to, rub up against the lens, but let's say it did. It's in your pocket, keys are rubbing up against it, coins, what else have you. If you drop it into grit or whatever, then the sapphire coating will give you a degree of scratch resistance, which is awesome. They're also dual anti-reflective coating, so coated rather. So you've got the anti-reflective coating on the outside and the inside of the actual lens itself. So it stops reflections from both ends and gives you a cleaner, clearer beam, really. So cleaner and clearer beam. In terms of the actual beam pattern itself, if we have a look at it, let me turn this back one second. Yeah, there we go. Okay, move that out the road. It's a great beam. I mean, it's completely getting washed out. Let's see if I can, there we go, readjust for it. So look at the size of that hotspot. That is an awesome sized hotspot. If I was to do it in comparison to, say, the PD32, okay, haha, PD32 looks on camera to have the same sized hotspot, but I can tell you it doesn't. It's got a smaller hotspot. You got a good hotspot here. You got a really good spill beam area here, which is superb. It means when you're out walking your dog at night, when you're walking down the street and you need to illuminate something, you're walking in the countryside, you're out camping in the wilderness, you need something that will illuminate a larger area, this flashlight will do it for you. In terms of value, would I buy this flashlight? Well, that's a bit of a moot point because I already have bought it. Would I buy it again though? Now that I've got the S10 baton, I don't know. I don't know. It depends what you want. I really prefer the whiter light of the 1C over the S10 batten, although the magnetic tail end, the pocket clip, the smaller size, kind of a big plus. If I could have the white color, the white tint that this has for the output in this package, and at this price, this is a cheaper flashlight than this. You know, that's, again, UK, we're looking at £30, £35, £40, £45. You know, you got a £10 premium. And the States, I guess you'll be, just change the pounds for dollars and you're pretty much looking at the same thing. You know, super comparable. I would probably go for the Olight. In all honesty, I would go for the Olight over the Thrunite. I would not buy this again. So, yeah. And what about between the other two options? The PD32 against the 2C. Well, which would I buy in this case? I'd buy the 2C over the PD32. Why? Because, well, it has a slightly greater output. Insignificant in all honesty. I mean, you're looking at 315 versus 330. It's almost the same. But the 2C, you know, they're the same size flashlight. It tail stands, whereas the PD32 doesn't. This is tactical, this is EDC. You know, pretty different in that respect. It's a narrower flashlight. It's got far better knurling. I mean, that's an advantage the 1C has over the Olight as well. The Olight doesn't have much knurling. It's got a little bit of, well, checkering really on the body, but it's nowhere near as good as the knurling you get on the 1C. Let's see if I can even show you the difference, a comparison between the two. So there's a checkering on the batten, which is decent. It is decent. It gives you traction. But the knurling on the Thrunite is they've done a better job with that, and that's the same case for the knurling on the Thrunite versus the knurling of the Phoenix. The Phoenix is good knurling, though I have to be honest, I prefer the knurling on the 2C. Is it significantly better? No, but it does give you a greater degree of traction. I prefer the stainless steel bezel ring. I prefer the fact that it's a reverse clicky rather than a forward clicky. I prefer the fact that I can tail stand this, and I prefer the fact that it's got an orange peel reflector versus a smooth reflector, and a T6 LED rather than the Cree XPGR5 LED. So all in all, this is a winner. This is by far and away the winner. Out of the four, I take that for my 1C and this for my 2C. That's a 5-mount review. Over and out.